Hello, everybody. Welcome to Slash Yell, the show where we're delayed because Indigo's updating his computer. My name is Krug. I have Adrock with me, and I think Indigo's going to be joining us at some point during the show, but that still remains to be seen. His computer
Yeah.
has to do stuff.
For those of you that don't know, there's a Windows update going around this week that's pretty big and long. Like I did
Yeah.
it I did it yesterday. It took me over half an hour, so I don't know if we're gonna see Indigo today.
Did it really take you half an hour?
Yeah, it's gonna be half an hour. Don't know why.
Is it the anniversary update? You wouldn't.
Maybe it's their Halloween update.
That's cute. Adrock, since you weren't here for the last show, why don't you tell us how your week was, buddy?
A whole fat lot of nothing. I have LA Comic Con happening in 2 weeks. I have a few other things taken care of. So mostly it's just kind of that. Honestly, that's mostly it. How about you, Krug?
I went to Nashville last week, so I didn't really get to play very many video games. But what I did get to do was a lot of fun work stuff. I played a little bit of
sweet
Hearthstone.
barbecue.
Oh, dude, the food there is so good.
Yeah,
the
right.
Food there is so good. Like we had this place called like Fat Boy or something like that. I don't remember what it was called, but oh my god, just barbecue sauce all over my mouth, just everywhere. Oh, so good. And we had what's that kind of food called? Brazilian barbecue. So if you don't know what Brazilian barbecue is, basically these dudes come around to the tables and okay, let me start from the beginning. You go and you sit down and you go to the salad bar and you can get like salad stuff. And then on your table there's this little cardboard coin and one side is red and the other side is green. So if you flip it to the green side, these dudes come by your table with just slabs of meat, just tons of meat, and they're like, "Hey, do you want some of this meat?" And you're like, "Yeah, put it on my plate, baby." And then they put it on your plate, and they don't stop doing that.
Yep,
they keep coming around with meat and just meat, and it's like all different meat. It's not just like, "Hey, this is steak." It's like, "Hey, this is filet mignon. Hey, this is this other cut of meat," because Krug doesn't know any other cuts of meat. Hey, this is chicken. Hey, this is bacon wrapped, whatever the fuck. I don't care. We're just gonna wrap all of it in bacon, and it's so good, dude. Oh my god, So when we travel for work, we're allowed to expense all of our meals to the company, and it costs like $45 for
I actually
one
feel
seat.
really bad. I've done that twice where the boss goes, "You know what? Get whatever you want. It's on the company." I went, "I'm gonna just take this like slab of like this half of a carrot and I'll call it even." He goes, "Seriously? Okay, fine, a Diet Coke."
You can talk to my boss. I'm the same way, but like this food is good enough for me to not care. Like just go like, "You're gonna pay for this? You're gonna pay the $50 for me to eat meat for like 6 hours? All right, done. Let's do it right now." Also, my boss was with
fantastic.
me, so that helped because he was sitting right next to me doing it on his company card. So that was my week. Indigo's week was really great. He got to go to Oktoberfest, so I'm really jealous because he got to drink a bunch of beer for free.
It is the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, right? But we're not going to talk about him because he's not here, like the plebeians. So, that having been said, we're going to jump right into the news. The first thing on the docket is the Ranger Awakening. For those of you that have been listening to previous Slash Yells, you know that Black Desert Online is doing an awakening for all of their characters.
Just to remind you, they're not dead yet. They're just dying.
Well, it depends on who you are. So when you reach a certain level, you can go through the Awakening quest line and get a special weapon and unlock a bunch of different abilities for your character. And this is the Ranger's Awakening, so you can see what the Ranger's weapon and new abilities look like. It looks like any other fucking Black Desert thing. It's fucking
particle effects everywhere.
Particle effects. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. It's particle effects everywhere.
The weapon's
like a little rapier thing, and it doesn't look that cool. But whatever.
It's like she's a quasi fencer. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
None of these awakening videos like and weapons remind me of the archetype they're dealing with. They just went, fuck it, let's give him something else. I think like the ninja had a Ronin like style skin to it, where it's like a samurai than a ninja, like one of the most recent ones. And even then, the awakening videos, I don't know what to make of them because it's just a tease at essentially a prestige class.
Yeah,
but it's not tied to any major content patch, right? At least that we know of.
It's tied to content for each class. There's like a quest line that you go through and complete, and that's what unlocks these abilities in this weapon. So there's content involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
but
just
yeah,
odd.
this one isn't really anything special for me. Like the reason we started covering these was because the first one we covered, the sorceress, looked really fucking cool, and so we put it in. And then the next one was really fucking cool. It was the berserker. And we are like, oh my god, these are amazing. This one, not so much, but just because it's a pattern, we're gonna put it in here. You can go take a look at it. If you think it's awesome and you
We've
think we're
already started. Might
stupid,
as well finish.
yeah, right. If you think it's awesome and you think we're stupid for hating it, then you know. Oh, I didn't even see Indigo's note. Indigo wrote the note, lamest of what we have seen so far. I swear
Yeah.
I didn't read that before I started talking, but I'm pretty sure it's a unanimous QueueTimes. This isn't as good as the rest stamp.
No, and with all the other content coming out from other games, I feel like the Awakening stuff is just not on par.
Well,
Like, I mean, even case in point, our next little bit on Blade and Soul, I find that more interesting than just these Awakening videos.
the pumpkin carving contest.
Because
You
one
find
is
the
Halloween,
pumpkin.
and two, pumpkins.
This is such a dumb contest, though.
No, these contests are awesome. I love when they do like these kind of quasi like real world things. So Blade and Soul, for those of you that don't know, has this little contest going on right now where you're getting a template for a pumpkin if you want, or carve and create your own. And it's a real world contest. So, you do your pumpkin carving, do whatever you want with it, however you want to do it, and you send the pictures in, and like winners will get costume sets that are kind of hard to get, as well as Endcoin, which is the in-game currency that works on all NCSoft games, not just Blade and Soul. So if you play a lot of NCSoft games, a contest like this is one you might want to go and try.
Yeah, I think this is dumb as shit. So the pumpkin carving contest.
You don't like fun, that's why.
No, it's not fun. It's literally like carve a pumpkin. Oh, but instead of carving a real pumpkin, you can just use this little clip art that we have, and they just like post a thing, a pumpkin template. It doesn't. I don't think it's. I don't see how a little like clip art edit can rival an actual pumpkin. Like they should have just been like, okay, if you don't want to go through the trouble of getting a real pumpkin, go fuck yourself.
Well, it is a global game, and not everybody celebrates Halloween physically. Like, there's a video
Oh,
of a lady
sure,
who
okay,
lives in Japan. Her husband's like, "Yeah, Japan, we don't really do pumpkins in Japan for Halloween."
that makes sense. Fine.
I
Did
agree
you?
with you. It's kind of lame. Like, they gave you the option for a cheap vector art pumpkin, but
Yeah. Well, okay.
if one of those wins, I'll be surprised.
So the winners, so there are gonna be 6 total winners to win a Graveheart costume set and a white horse mask, and then the grand prize winners will be 8,000 N coin.
That's actually pretty good prize.
Yep. They say that there are 6 winners based off of the categories, but I can't find the categories in the post.
I didn't see them either. Looking around for them.
Yeah, so I don't know what the categories are. Submissions? No. Oh, maybe it's here. Oh my god, there's a 6-page fucking document. Wow, guys. Why do you have to
rules and
do this
regulations?
shit?
Rules and
Oh
regulations.
god.
But again,
Okay,
I feel like we're ramping up from like the weaker end of this spectrum of show to like the more interesting content at the other side of it. Because I mean, the Secret World has their Halloween thing, and I'm like gonna go now. God damn it! So their Halloween event, the first of many, because it's the best time of the year, is Hide and Shriek, which is basically it's a one-on-one multiplayer romp in a high school, and your whole goal is to pretend you're haunting the halls and scare the other opponent to half the death before your time runs out. And it's really, really cool. So it's a point system. Instead of like you beating them, their life bar's dead. It's just whoever can do it the best points-wise wins.
Yeah, and I think this is funny. Like creating an instance with like a specific set of mechanics specifically for that instance for Halloween is awesome. That's what more people should be doing. So yeah, you basically run around and lay traps for your enemy, and you're both invisible. I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, I know how it's gonna work. I don't know how that's gonna play out. Like,
I think it works out
being
pretty
able
well.
to see your opponent.
Well, you're in a
know.
haunted school, so your idea is you want to lure them into traps. You want to lure them into like rituals, and so you're kind of like flushing them out.
Yeah, but how do you know that you succeeded?
It's a point system, so every time they trip a trap or you're able to successfully scare them, you'll get points to it.
I don't think that's very satisfying.
Basically,
I don't like content
it's like the
where
Poltergeist EP contest.
I don't like games in general, actually, where I can't see the results of my actions. Like that's why destructible terrain is so popular, because I shoot rocket at bridge goes collapsy. Instead of I shoot rocket at bridge, collapsy. I don't know, man. Instead of I shoot rocket at Bridge, Bridge is just chilling. Like Bridge is okay with it. Bridge can take another couple rockets if you want to shoot or infinite rockets, whatever. Like when you can't tell that you've done something by looking at it. Like if I shot a rocket at a bridge and then I got a notification on my screen that said you shot a rocket at a bridge instead of the bridge collapsing, like that's way less entertaining.
Also, we haven't played it yet, so
Yeah. I'm just going off what they're saying. They're
yeah,
saying,
true.
here's
You're
the kicker. You are both invisible. So if they haven't come up with some way to tell me in a more interesting way than you've got 5 points that I've successfully hit my enemy or successfully scared my enemy, I don't think I'm gonna like it.
I mean, I'm also still kind of really enjoying this idea because they decided to go like they've released the park before, and the Secret World has some really scary shit in there because they go through the occult and legends and mythology, and people can think of some crazy ass stuff when they're putting that in like behind a layer of religion and or mythology. And with Hide and Shriek, they decided to just go Goosebumps. So everything looks kind of cheesy 80s, 90s. The skull's like fuchsia and it's got like a giant like glow around it. And it looks like the cover of a Goosebumps book. It's kind of fun.
Do Goosebumps books still scare you?
No, but they're fun. I actually kind of enjoyed the most recent Goosebumps movie. Wasn't that bad?
Oh yeah, that actually wasn't that bad.
Oh, Jack Black. I'd do it. I'd watch it again.
That's probably the main reason it wasn't that bad. Neverwinter Online?
Sure, why not? Because they also have a holiday thing happening, but it's not. I mean, okay. Look, here's my issue, and it's tangentially tied to this. This is October, right?
Yeah.
So the holiday is Halloween, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I don't like when they do this in the holiday season?
What?
Is when they forego the scary, spooky, fun stuff and just go straight to anything snow related. Like Target does it and Walmart does it. And Neverwinter just said, fuck it, ice giants. Let's go, baby. And I think you're working on called Assault on Svartborg. And it looks like it's a Storm King's Thunder campaign. It's like an expansion to it. And it starts at level 70 and it's a trial that happens as well. And you're basically on an assault team that just goes and fights against frost giants and ice harbors and old Viking Norse areas. It looks cool, but where's the spooky stuff, man?
Yeah.
Where's the spooky stuff?
They bombed on the spooky stuff. They don't care about your spooky stuff.
Does D&D even do spooky stuff that's not Cthulhu related?
Yeah, man. Dude, there are tons of scary things in D&D. Owlbears. Fucking bandits. I don't know.
Demigorgon.
I don't know what those are. I'm not that.
Did you ever see Stranger Things?
Yet. My highest level D&D character is 2. Stranger Things? No. What's Stranger Things?
You're kidding me, right?
Nope.
No. You have Netflix. Okay, your goal now, because it's appropriate for the season, is go watch Stranger Things and report back to us next week for /yell.
Okay, I'll try really hard to do that.
It's only 8 episodes. Even your lazy ass can do it.
I value your opinion about television.
To D&D.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, they literally explain one of the parts of this world through D&D. And it's awesome. How they actually use it as an introductory device into all their characters, and they use it again to great effect towards the end of the series.
All right, well, in that case, I'm going to do it after the show, because that sounds awesome.
No, I don't trust you with your recommendations.
I don't still. So, moving on to WildStar. For those of you that have been playing WildStar for a while, Shades Eve is back, baby. If you are curious as to what the content is, I'm pretty sure it's the same as last year.
I don't believe they've said anything different.
Yeah, you can go and check out My Beautiful Face play through it with Indigo, and I think Adrock was there too on YouTube. So. This is a 30-minute video. It's going to be in the show notes, and you can go ahead and click on it and watch it. It's really, really fun. The content is legitimately really fun. Like it's a little confusing at the beginning, but if you watch the video, you'll understand how to get through the beginning part. And then after that, it's like a dungeon themed with like scary things, and it's cool.
So basically, Shades Eve whole thing is they took the idea of the headless horseman kind of idea, these like possessions and hauntings, and they put it into this world, and they gave it this kind of sci-fi edge that WildStar likes to do with a lot of things. So it's tied around these two characters, the Angel and Jack Shade, and the the legends and hauntings that surround it, and you get kind of caught in the middle as the unwitting traveler that ends up in a strange place and weird shit happens. I don't know how much of it will translate to this year, since last year there was a definitive end to the Shades Eve story they had. I don't know if they'll bring it back in the same capacity or if they'll create a new one. They're teasing it right now, so who knows? But they also have the pumpkin carving contest, which is
Yeah.
NCSoft. I think all of NCSoft's games have this pumpkin carving contest. Okay, now. Yay.
Yeah, right? I don't get it. I don't get why they think this is something that will like reach the people of today. Like I don't get it.
Okay, one pumpkin carving is really fun. You don't have
Okay.
kids, and you don't like. Do you like pumpkin seeds?
Do I like to eat pumpkin seeds?
Yeah.
No,
Do you like pumpkin
not
pie?
at all. No?
Are you human? How do you
No.
not like pumpkin seeds and pumpkin pie? You take
Pumpkin
a
pie is
pumpkin, you
disgusting.
gut it
Pumpkin
out.
pie is like the dessert that you have once a year, and then nobody ever has it outside of the context of Thanksgiving or whatever.
You shut your whore mouth. Pumpkin pie is
Nobody
the best.
does it. Nobody does
you
it.
lie. Oh my god. Okay, trust
It's
me on
exactly
this one
like
too.
not cotton candy. What's it called? Candy corn. It's exactly like candy corn. It's this
Okay,
food,
wait.
and you're like, oh, this is a seasonal festive food. I'm gonna try one, and then you put it in your mouth, and you're like, God, that was disgusting.
I
Why did
for
I do
one
that?
like candy
Why
corn,
can't
but
I
I can understand.
remember
I can understand
Why
people don't
can't I
like candy
remember
corn.
that this
Pumpkin
is the
pie is
most
the shit, though.
disgusting? Hold on, you know people that like candy corn?
I like candy corn, but I know I'm in the minority on that one.
Wow. We can't be friends.
I know.
We actually can't be friends.
Okay, look, I know I'm in the minority on a few things. Candy corn, baseball, and a few other things as well. But pumpkin pie, man. Like, you just take the pumpkin, you carve it out, you take the innards, you scoop them out, take the seeds, put a little bit of salt on them, throw them in the oven for a little bit, and they're nice and toasty. Oh, it's so good.
Wait, that's how you make a pumpkin pie?
No. The pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin pie, you just go buy at
Oh.
Costco. And I'll fucking demolish one over the course of a week on my own, which explains a lot about my current predicament.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you should stop eating entire pumpkin pies by yourself.
That being said, if anyone's going to do any of the content for NCSoft to apply for this thing, I think Wild Stars is a lot more fun than I don't believe Blade and Soul's doing a Halloween specific thing, since it's since it's a Korean market game. I don't think Halloween's as big a thing in Korea as it is in America, North America, Europe, and maybe parts of Japan. So,
why do you say this is more fun?
Because Shades Eve is like actual legitimate content, and the pumpkin carving contest is across all the lines. But if you're gonna like participate in any of these games, this is the one I would say do it, because it's tied into it. Like, there's a big, like, the fun part about Jack Shade and Shades Eve is that it has a very big Americana feel to it. If you've ever seen stuff like Over the Garden Wall, the North American Americana feeling of this haunting and this weirdness and this creepiness that like permeates through all of Shades Eve. That's my more fun thing. Like, I'd rather go do that, or like even Hollow's End from World of Warcraft, which also is showing up soon.
Is it? Oh, this is gonna be my first WoW like holiday.
Yeah.
Yay!
They haven't really said a whole lot about it since they're a little busy with other stuff.
Right, like creating the last patch for World of Warcraft coming soon. So speaking of WoW, do you want to talk about the new game director for WoW?
Yeah,
since I can't pronounce his name.
Tom Chilton decided he was gonna walk away from World of Warcraft. He's still working at Blizzard. He's working with the new team on a potentially a new project. I don't want to say new IP or anything else like that. He's working on a new project within Blizzard, but he's been with World of Warcraft for as long as anybody of like the veterans. So again, some people will say, "Oh, it's because people are jumping ship because the game is dying." Makes no sense when you've got the guys who've been there since the inception going, "Hey, I've been doing World of Warcraft for fucking 10 years. I'd like to do something new." And that's what happened. So Tom Chilton said later he's working on something else in Blizzard, and Ian Hazakostas has taken over as the game's director. Hazakostas was, I believe, the scenario, like, event lead, so he would help do stuff like the dungeons, if I'm not mistaken, and the raids. I could be a little off on that if I'm not mistaken. But honestly, Hazakostas has done pretty well. It was a little bit of a misstep he had, and took a lot of flack during Warlords of Draenor. But overall, I think his mindset's in the right place to help WoW move on from Legion on. I don't see this being a big deal. And most shakeups, whenever you see big names within like we the public get to see in gaming, I don't believe they're as big as people make them out to be, unless you've got people being laid off constantly, or like certain or like wings of stuff being shut down. Specific people typically tend to be because they retire or they shift over to something else.
Yeah, and honestly, like I know this is a lot of big news for a lot of people, but I don't really keep up with the names in game development unless they're people that I've spoken to. Like we go to a con and we get to speak to this person, so I'm gonna remember that person's name and what they did when I spoke to them. But other than that, it's not like it's the same way I treat music. Like I just listen to good music. I don't care who's in this band and like the name of the bass player, blah blah blah. Like it doesn't really mean anything to me. But that having been said, the fact that this is such like major earth-shattering development for people means it's probably something that I should pay attention to. So I'm gonna try and start doing that more
I mean, for us,
frequently.
because we like help report the news, and it'd be kind of cool if we knew what we're talking about. We're talking about it. That'd be nice.
Wow, you're rude. Why you gotta be rude?
Heyo.
I mean, it's I just like look. Okay, so here's the deal. Does it really matter? Like, it's a guy who's doing a job, and then there are people that he works for, and it's their job to make sure that when he leaves, there's an adequate person to replace him. So
But
really, the
it's
thing
one
that we
thing.
should be reporting on is when the successor fucks up, we can say, "Oh, hey, look, they hired this person. The first thing he did was
But if
fuck
you don't
up,
know who this
and
dude
here's how he
is, and
fucked
why
up,
would
and
you?
here's how he could have avoided it." That's the important part. The less
But you didn't
important
even
part.
realize that he was kind of Kazakastas was kind of like that weird little face of Blizzard during Worlds of Draenor, where he was the one that kind of took some weird flack for it. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Because we're on this show, you should know this.
I think it's dumb. I think it's a waste of time. I think you got to focus on the hard facts and less on the people generating the hard facts. It seems silly. Anyways,
Let's
uh,
focus less on the source of everything. Just focus on the
yeah,
things that happen.
exactly. Return to Karazhan. Speaking of WoW, patch 7.1.
Yeah,
Uh,
confirmed. It's a release date.
yeah, yeah, October 25th, everybody. I'm excited for this dungeon. Have you seen what this dungeon looks like?
Yeah. So what basically is happening is you're going back into Karazhan, and you about halfway through, everything flips on its head. And honestly, if you had not seen anything about the new Karazhan instance, which is going to be a mega dungeon, it will not replace old Karazhan for the 18th time we've said it. It's very Alice in Wonderland inspired. Things happen and reality warps around you. There's new plays that you get to go through. It looks really cool, and honestly, because they've released 7.1 on October 25th, about 2 months after the launch of Legion. This is going to be interesting because they said they wanted to move away from the Warlords idea, and because they only gave out 2 big patches and that was it. But nothing much there. It was a lot of dry drought stuff. So they figured, oh, they'll go through like the Miss Pandaria model, which was pretty decent. I mean, they're decent enough on the content. They released it regularly enough until they got to Siege of Orgrimmar, and then we waited a year and a half for anything. So I'm tentative about how the Legion content's gonna come out. They've already been dropping hints that once BlizzCon comes around, we're going to be getting potentially more information on the next step. And we'll have already been playing Return to Karazhan about 2 weeks or so before BlizzCon. I'm tentatively positive about the patch cycle for Legion. So yeah, should be interesting.
Oh, tentatively positive, like you have positive feelings about it, not like
Yeah, but I'm
I
curious if they're
understand what you're
gonna
saying.
like blow all their load like mists and then give us another year and a half between the last content patch
No,
and
they
the new
must have, and
content,
I think they might have learned something from WildStar. Like when WildStar was
or even
successfully
themselves
doing,
too.
yeah, but I mean, like think about when WildStar was successfully doing monthly content updates and how much people fucking loved it, and like how much people hated it when it went away. That was like the actual that's the standard now, I think. Is like whoever can meet that goal of that kind of frequency of updates is going to be like the king of the block,
I think more
I guess.
accuracy. I
And
think more accurately it would be the not only the frequency of the updates, but the content inset update. Because we talked about the Karazhan instance in here, but that's not the only thing happening in 7.1. We've also got the new mini raid with Odin and Helia that's supposed to
mhm.
help wrap up the Stormheim storyline. Also, a revolt happening in Sormar that sets up the next raid tier, which is I believe, I think it's Sormar City or the Nighthold. I think it's what it's called.
Uh-huh.
So there's like they're adding more. They're not just adding like this is the selfie stick like they did with Warlords of Draenor. It's hey, shit's happening now, and we want to make sure that Legion keeps breathing. They've given themselves enough seeds in each of the zones and Sormar to really give us. I want to go out on a limb, and I hopefully am saying 6 to 7 patches worth of good content over the course of 2 years, but I could be really jumping the gun there.
I I don't know. I'm just saying that if Blizzard makes the release schedule for updates like tighter, nothing bad's gonna happen. Like they're only gonna get people being happy from regular content updates. And I'm not talking about like content updates that like, oh, we fixed this bug and like did this thing. Like if they release like an instance, even if they're like small little bits of content, something that can distract people, maybe every 2 months or every 3 months or something like that. That would be a much better way of keeping people subscribed. And I don't get why they don't do it. Like they're like one of the last bastions of subscription models. They need to keep people in consistently to keep their money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if they can keep 90% of their player base subscribed 100% of the time, they're gonna be fucking rich, dude.
Well, check this out. I
Get it.
just found the amount of patches and the average length of the lifespan of each expansion. So the average length of the lifespans of each expansion in WoW was like 500 or 600 days. Some were longer, like Mists of Pandaria and Vanilla and Burning Crusade. Some were shorter, as in World of Draenor being their roughly shortest cycle. But I mean, the patches just kind of significantly dropped. Like Vanilla had 12, Burning Crusade had 5, then 4, Mist had like 5 or 6. Draenor Warlords had 3. Launch 6.1, 6.2. So it's not hard for Legion to kind of go like, hey, we could go to Pandaria levels, maybe a little along, like a little beyond that, and deliver semi-consistent basis of time for our content too. But I'm being optimistic, so who knows?
Look, how hard is it to go from 6 to 12? Just do 12, man. One every month.
Well,
get it done.
Vanilla was weird because that was their biggest. That was like the most tumultuous time period where every like 6 weeks you'd get major changes to characters and talent trees and shit.
But vanilla doesn't count at all.
No, I mean base games don't count as much. They kind of help set the bar, but mostly it's like we need to fix all of the holes in our ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you first release something, you can't be expected to, update it for content when you're too busy updating it for polish and like fixing the shit that you discovered is wrong with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have my dick hard for the Crowfall news.
I'm gonna let you take most of this. I'm gonna chime in where I can because there's a lot going on here.
So the thing that we've been talking about for fucking forever is finally happening. The Crowfall team is working on the large scale world as opposed to what we've been seeing in beta, which is just instance based like confrontations essentially. So that's exciting. Like that's what we've been seeing in the beta is basically just like gameplay tests, like gameplay mechanic tests. We haven't been seeing anything about NPCs. We haven't been seeing anything about like how the world loads as you move from location to location or like interacting with players on a scale that's larger than this is my team, we're going to go kill the enemy team. Like there's so much stuff that we're going to learn about Crowfall immediately when this goes into the beta, and I can't fucking wait. Although I could say it can suck. Like they could fuck it up really bad, but
yeah, isn't it that there's like every world after every campaign or every season / session will be a new world, right? Like they're technically procedurally generated after each arc is done.
Yes. I don't know about procedurally, but
I mean vaguely because they were saying that they were going to test like different rule sets and different kinds of worlds at least early on in their pitch because the world had finite lifetimes.
Yeah.
Where eventually the world will decay and you'll have to abandon ship before it's too late.
Right. So not only is it going to be the big world, it's also going to have harvesting and crafting, which we've done a video on, or we've covered their video on it. They're adding skills, so you're going to actually be able to choose your skills instead of what the beta is now, which is you get a pre-built character of whatever class you've picked. Wow. They're going to enable PvP. They're going to enable groups. They're not going to be enabling sieges, so it's just going to be the open world. And then they wanted to stress that this is a bug testing period. It's not a mechanics test. It's not like a gameplay test. It's not about how the game feels. It's about getting people in there to find bugs because they know there are a lot of bugs. And I know like all the time you hear nowadays because the whole free to play early access model is so popular now. Like, oh, this is a really buggy game and it's free. It's early access, and it's really not. It's just they don't want to say that
This
they
is an
fully released yet.
actual
This
alpha
is an
beta build.
actual, yeah. This game is actually early. It's actually not done, and there are actually tons of bugs. Like whenever I go into beta or I've went into beta, it's just been wrought with bugs. Like
Yeah.
everything from screen tearing to fucking like graphical glitches on the screen where like just like everything turns white for a second, or like just the menus turn all white and you're just like, what the fuck's even happening right now? There are actual real bugs. So it's not going to be necessarily something super enjoyable for people to play, but it is going to help the developers polish it up so that when it actually releases, they will
I
not be
actually
present.
kind of really like that because right now, like
Yeah.
even we're playing Battle Right, that does not feel like an early access game. That feels like a game that's ready to launch in like 2 weeks.
That feels like a game that launched a year ago. It's smooth
Maybe
as
not
F to
that far
me.
ago, but at least either on the cusp or it should have launched like a month ago and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
This is going
Yeah.
to be
If they
literally,
launched it
hey,
right
your
now,
game's
I
going
don't
to
see what
crash
would
like
be
mad.
okay. Well, there is one bug that I notice in Battle Right all the time, and that's that the UI doesn't scale correctly for my monitor, but that's
Yeah, but
fine.
you also have like a freaking nature monitor, right?
I do have a freaking nature monitor. So
That's not the
whatever.
game's fault. It's
That's
your fault.
yeah, it is my fault, you're right. So that's fine. Uh so there are some goals that they have for the big world update is what they're calling it. So they want to make a jump to longer duration tests. So currently they do like tests that can be measured in hours. They want to change it to days. They want the servers to be up for longer periods. Excuse me. They want to have character persistence. So as opposed to now having a pre-generated character that just refreshes every time you enter an instance, they want you to be able to make and keep a single character or alts or whatever that you want to do. They want to move skill training to a centralized server, meaning that you get the benefits of your skill training on any server that you log into. They want seamless movement in a world made up of parcels. So basically, their technology relies on like parcels of land, and you can kind of hear them talk about it when they talk about their effectively their housing system. And they're basically what they're working on is getting it so that you can walk from one to the other without it like stopping and having to load the next parcel and so on and so forth.
We're getting the most in-depth look into development of a game in a long
I
time.
know, I
This is
fucking
stuff.
love it.
I mean, we keep saying it, but this is stuff that they don't tell you when they're developing other games. When they say, "Hey, we're going into our alpha and beta mode, just please report the bugs, and we'll let you know if there's anything crazy." It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, our world technically is just gonna keep popping up behind your feet. So just a heads up here, and the map size will change constantly because they want to make sure it's hits that sweet spot with players and their machines. And we're also gonna, we haven't really put in mechanics like say stealth, or we're missing character types. We're also missing the resources you'd be looking for. Like literally, you're gonna be plopped on a Minecraft map, minus the actual ability to build anything, but
Right.
go kill each other.
Right. So currently, the world that they've this is also something they're testing. They want to get a feel for how it would be. Let me rephrase that. They're trying to get a feel for how the world's going to feel at its current size. So right now it's 512 miles or 5,120. Is that miles or
I
meters?
want to
It
say
just says M.
mile. I probably meters because M is normally just meter. I mean, I
Okay,
didn't
fine.
put this in there. I know you didn't. I believe Indigo did. So
Yeah,
who
and he's
knows?
dead currently. So let's just assume it's meters.
At
And I
least to
mean,
us.
5,120 meters sounds relatively small, but you have to remember that this is a refreshing thing. Like it's not just
Your character
this
only
is
walks at 1 meter at a time.
well, there's also that. But it's not gonna stay the same world. Like the size is gonna stay the same, but the content inside of it is going to change because that's what Crowfall's about. Uh, and they even say so their goal is to adjust that up or down depending on how it feels when people get in. So that's another thing that they're trying to test out. They also want to work on stealth. The Gunisian duelist. Oh man, a Genesian,
Genesian.
the little guinea pig guy. I
Yeah,
don't know how to
Genesian.
pronounce. Yeah, Genesian. Sure, Genesian duelist. They're working on. They're still working on harvesting of resources, crafting, player movement and responsiveness. They're still working on that apparently. And yeah, I can kind of see why. It's actually kind of difficult because the terrain's destructible and you can walk on the broken pieces, so it gets a little weird sometimes. But
Yeah, you
hey,
actually have to make sure your characters don't just clip through everything when you fall in a hole that
yeah,
may
and
or
it's
may not
really
be there.
hard. It's really hard when you're walking on things that respond to physics because, like, okay, you just took a step on this. Oh, but it's in the middle
I
of
do love
falling.
ragdoll physics.
So yeah, it gets. I don't think ragdoll physics is going to be involved, but whatever.
I hope
They're
so.
working
Like
on
someone dies, they just go flying. Like
they're working on optimizing their character models in preparation for customization of character models, which you currently can't do, but that will be a thing eventually. They're completely revising the chat system, which is good because Adrock apparently hated it, and a bunch of
eh.
other things that are kind of boring, like making the FPS better and blah blah blah. So that's what they're working on. I'm super excited. I'm gonna hop into this beta all over your mouth
I'm still
or
waiting for
something.
my alpha phase invitation because I didn't pay for it, so I just put myself on a sign up list and still
Oh yeah, you're
waiting.
never getting in.
Yeah, right.
You're absolutely never getting in. There's also a couple of smaller bits that they posted. So one of them is the first look at a crafting station, uh, or some crafting stations. Excuse me. Excuse me, man. So it's
It feels like a long
obviously,
day today.
yeah, right. It obviously is just, placeholder stuff. All of this stuff can change, but it's, just to look at some of the models they're going to be using for crafting stations. They're different based on what profession you are. So for example, the blacksmiths is like a forge with like molten metal and an anvil, whereas there's like one for alchemy where it has like bottles and candles and looks like magical and has a cauldron next to it. They're pretty cool, so you can take a look at them in the show notes if you're interested. And lastly, for Crowfall, I don't know what this is. I don't know what.
So they've been doing live streams where they'll show the creation of say spell effects, or they'll kind of like show off what they're gonna do when they're
Oh, that's what
building
this is.
animations. And this
Yeah,
is an animation test for their zombie creatures and how they're planning on doing it. And it's interesting because they actually in these live streams they'll take advice and input from their community. And there's
yeah,
little things like we mentioned on previous shows where there's little touches of fluidity and animation that they didn't really quite think of until someone says, "Hey, the Minotaur should shake his head a certain way when he roars backwards." And they go, "Oh, let's try it out. Does it look good? Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. Let's keep that." So it's the same thing here where they kind of go over the zombie characters and how they're gonna react, move around, and pop out into the world, and the particle effects and how it's gonna react, and what happens if you place them in the world. It's all really cool, interesting stuff. So if you're again this whole like the Crowfall live series, if you are super into game development, this is what you want to be watching. This is really really good stuff.
yeah. And like, watch it live because I think it being involved in this conversation would be really cool. I've never had the opportunity to watch it live. I've only ever watched them.
I never know when they're
Uh,
live.
yeah, the recorded versions. It should say on the fucking video, but it doesn't. Scrubs. It just says. It doesn't even have a link to their Twitch, dude. What the fuck? It's lame. Why are they dumb? They need to hire a new social media person. Hey, Crowfall, you want a new social media person? What's up? How's it going? I know that you should put links to your Twitch and your YouTube videos that are recordings of your Twitch videos because that only makes sense. Anyways, we should figure out when those streams actually happen and then put it in
Right,
the show
and let
notes.
people know about it because it'd be
Yep,
really cool.
because that's
Like
what we
I
do
know they're
here.
on Twitch, but I don't know when they are. They never.
Yeah.
Oh, some of them were not live. Some of them were just presentations. So like, I
Oh,
think
this
this
one
one was
wasn't
not live,
live. Oh,
but
it
most
looked
some of them
live.
are.
Yeah, the
Enough of them
camera,
are.
but I believe Indigo. Indigo knows all the Crowfall. Indigo's in our
He's got a
Twitch chat, by the way.
giant boner for Crowfall.
Yeah, he does. Everyone should. It's a fucking great game.
Well, we got
Uh,
two more games to talk about before we
yeah.
wrap up the week, and
You
one of
want to
them
hop into
being
Final Fantasy?
yeah. So we mentioned that Final Fantasy had a new patch coming out recently, and that happened. And then not long afterwards, they decided to say, "Here's the teaser trailer for Stormblood, and it's gonna come out next summer." And this trailer is like all Final Fantasy trailers, drop dead goddamn gorgeous, and makes no goddamn sense at all, ever. Luckily, someone was able to find out a bunch of the updates, and all the character levels are getting a boost to 70 for all classes. More additional classes are coming out. There's there's a whole like Civil War thing going on with it. There's extra raids coming in, higher end raids, more difficult raids. There's gonna be more exploration going on, new gears and recipes. So it's not just any other normal patch. From what some of this stuff is saying, it almost feels like a mini expansion.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That good? That good? You're
14.
gonna give it
Well, the amount
expansion
of stuff they're
status?
saying, it's pretty goddamn big. It's pretty interesting how big it is. Plus, they're going to end PlayStation 3 support for the game. So up until now, Final Fantasy 14 was PS3
Uh-oh.
compatible, and with Stormblood, it'll be the
Oh, they did
biggest.
that shit on purpose.
Well, I don't
They
believe
did that
14's
shit
on
on
PS4, and
purpose.
PS3 is no longer supported as a platform by Sony.
Oh, it's not on
So,
PS4?
oh, it's not on PS4. At least, in a way, I could be wrong.
Oh.
Let's see. They say they've been examining numbers and see the largest migration of PS3 to PS4. So basically, once they did enable
Yeah.
PS4 for 14, they said looked at the numbers and went, you know what, PS3 is a no longer supported platform. Our players have already enough of our players have made the jump where it makes more sense to us to give free upgrades from PS3 to PS4. So if you have a Final Fantasy 14 account, you're on PS3. It sounds like they're going to be giving you free upgrades of 14 to PS3 players, so they don't have to like repurchase the game again for PS4.
Yeah.
So
for what it's worth, they're not giving you a PS4
no, yeah, make sure you clarify
for
that.
your PS3. They're not giving you hardware, just software.
Yeah.
Those are two different things.
It's gonna be pretty cool, and they're also doing stuff like they're overhauling their skills. So some of these skills were like specific to certain jobs, gonna be more overlap, so it's gonna be better synergy. So that's more stuff Final Fantasy 14 players understand more than we would, but I believe it's worth pointing out since 14 is still one of the more heavily populated and played games in the MMO sphere.
Speaking
God
of
damn it, it's gorgeous.
Speaking of fucking gorgeous, dude. Star Citizen, oh my god. Have you watched these videos? You absolutely have to.
Not yet.
So, two videos about Star Citizen. One regarding their planets. So, for those of you that don't know, Star Citizen is going to have a system a la No Man's Sky that will allow players to go from space to planet. And the
You mean
planets are
Starbound?
procedurally generated. What did I say?
Or you mean Minecraft?
No, I meant No Man's
Anything
Sky.
but No Man's Sky, because that's not a great comparison.
I specifically meant No Man's Sky.
Okay.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I meant what No Man's Sky was supposed to be. That's like the theme for this segment about Star Citizen is what No Man's Sky was supposed to be.
Dude,
So
how happy
two videos up.
were some of these developers when they found out how much of a train wreck No Man's Sky became?
Oh yeah, that could have taken so many. Anyways, so procedurally generated planets. So basically, in this video, a player lands on a planet and explores it for a while, and some fucking cool shit happens. Like, so he comes across a dilapidated ship that's just like crashed into the earth, and like explores it. There's some like raidery looking people on the ship, and he can like kill them. He takes one of them down with like a sneak attack. It's really cool. And then he like gets out a sniper rifle and goes to the edge of the ship, and he starts shooting at these other raiders that are like zooming along on like speeder bikes from Star Wars. And so he's shooting him, and then out of nowhere, this fucking giant worm just erupts from the sand and just goes rawr, and just starts eating him, just like and he's just watching it at this point. He like takes a shot or two at it, but then just like this isn't doing anything. And then the worm like
I'm gonna
turns to
step
face him.
away from this now.
Yeah, this video is really long, but if you have the patience to sit through the whole thing, or if you skip through the whole thing and try and find the bits where stuff's happening,
As I'm doing right now.
it looks really cool, dude. I'm super excited for it. Like the planets seem, excuse me,
Honestly,
like there's actually a variety to the content that's available on the planets, as opposed to fucking No Man's Sky, where you just fucking mined stuff and then left. And they were like,
for some reason,
every once in a while there was a building.
For some reason, I'm getting some like Star Wars: The Old Republic vibes in the models of the ships, and a little bit in the model of the player.
Yeah, I did too.
A little bit of it, like it, in the sense of the colors. There's like weird, almost neon-y kind of colors, and the weird sheenness of everything almost feels a little Old Republic-y. And like this really
because of
weird, vague sense.
Browns, like the browns, and actually that's what made me think. The first thing I thought wasn't Old Republic; it was Fallout. I thought of New Vegas because of just the palette of the situation or the planet they were on.
That's what it is, yeah.
Brown. But then in the next video, they show you other planets. So the next video is about the world editor. During this presentation, they were going over their world editor and showing off how powerful it was. It's very cool, by the way. Like it doesn't. I'd say it actually does tell you a lot about the game. So, it starts just on a barren planet, and then a dev just starts like placing things in, showing off what he can do with the world editor. Like, oh look, I can brush trees, and I can fucking scale things. Woo, look at this. And then he puts in buildings and stuff, and it's cool, but it's not really any valuable information about the game. But then he does something cool. So in the editor, he can like start playing the game from within the editor. He spawns in, gets into a ship, and then the guy in the background that's talking says, "Oh, by the way, guys, all these other planets that are in the sky, they're not just painted there. Those are actually other planets." And then he points a shit up at a planet and just goes there. And it was the fucking again. I'm gonna say this a lot. Exactly what No Man's Sky should have been is what I saw happen. It was just seamless fucking. I'm on this planet. Now I'm on this planet. There wasn't there wasn't like a loady pause between the planets where oh look, the sky's whiffing past you. This isn't a loading screen. You're just traveling. It was literally just you're at the other planet now. What do you want to do? You want to get out? You want to fly around? Whatever the fuck you want to do, just do it, man. This game would be real.
And this has been their angle for a long time. I think ultimately, I just wonder if it'll ever come to a full release.
Don't be negative, man.
I'm not being negative. I'm like legitimately curious because this is a game where if I had the ability to pay and play for it on a full retail, I would like to because I don't want to do pre-orders anymore.
Look, let's just send it good vibes. Can we all just, as a group, just send No Man's Sky? I'm sorry, not No Man's Sky. Send No Man's Sky poo. Send them boxes and boxes of poo. So they can go fuck themselves. Let's send Star Citizen good vibes.
Man, you are salty about that, aren't you?
Yeah, dude, that game was trash. The game was actually the digital equivalent of trash. All I ask for is positive vibes so that it doesn't end up being trash. I don't want my heart broken again. Please. Please. I'm so fragile now.
And on that note, I believe while Krug retreats into a pit of weeping tears and despair, if you want to find myself, Adrock, you can find me at AdrockDraws on Twitter and Twitch. Indigo, you can find it Indigo Jones on Twitter. And
my name is Krug. You can find me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also email me. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. If you want to email all three of us, you can email yell@QueueTimes.com. And if you want to tweet all three of us at the same time, you can tweet @_QueueTimes. The people that have the QueueTimes Twitter suck dick. Also, Twitter sucks dick as a whole because they're not giving us the name. They're just leaving it suspended. I got their account suspended, but they won't give me the name. Go fuck yourselves. That having been said, thank you for watching. We'll see you all next week, 3 p.m. PST for Quarter Up, 5 p.m. for /yell. I'm going to miss you a lot. I hope you write because I don't think I can go on for a whole week without hearing from you again.
Bye, everybody.
Mwah.